Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Witness Mdaka. I am a businessman, a property investor, as well as the author of this book. It's more than just money, a guide to escaping the rat race and building generational wealth. Now, as usual, I want to have a conversation with you. Now, I want you to engage with me. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know where you are watching from. Now, I'm shooting this video from Johannesburg, South Africa. If you are new to the channel, click on the subscribe button, click on the notifications bell, like the video, share it, and let me know what your thoughts are, of course. Now, today I want to have a conversation with you about education and basically looking at a different kind of education, because what we've been accustomed to growing up, especially those of us who were raised by parents that were professionals, or either a lawyer or a doctor or a teacher or a nurse. Like myself, I was raised by a nurse, and everything that I've heard growing up has been, if you want to be successful, go to school. If you want to be successful, get an education. But we haven't been accustomed to a different way of learning and getting education, a different way of empowering ourselves. So I want to have a conversation with you around a different kind of education. Now, of course, if you want to become a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, or any form of a professional, you've got to go to school and obviously get a university degree for you to be able to practice either as a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, or any other profession, right? But if you want to be a wealthy entrepreneur, then you've got to find yourself somebody who's done it before and learn from that person, right? So be it a mentor, a coach, even some peers that have done extremely well in the things that you want to do. You know, Jim Rohn says formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. Hang on, as I put this phone on silent so that it doesn't disturb us. So let's get right on to it. What are the things that we need to do if we want to become successful? And in our pursuit of success, we don't want to follow the traditional way of doing it, which is going to school and getting a degree. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, it's important for you to have some basic primary education, secondary education, and maybe even some college education, so that you can have an understanding of basic arithmetic, mathematics, as well as obviously being able to communicate properly. But other than that, there are certain things that you will not learn from formal education. Now, and certain things that even if you have formal education, you still have to go out there and get. Now, what are these things that you need to do? I think there are 6 things that you and I need to do if we want to see ourselves moving on to the next level and becoming successful. Number 1, don't set out to work for money, set out to work on yourself. Now, Jim Rohn says if you work on yourself, you will make a fortune. Like he said, formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. And then he continues to say, learn to work harder on yourself than you do at your job. So a lot of people, when they're starting out, they set out to work for money. Primarily, that's the reason why they go to work, or that's the reason why they get their education and they look for a job. They primarily are looking for an income so that they're able to take care of their basic needs. They're able to buy the things that they want to buy a car, buy a house, get an apartment, so on and so forth. But that sort of linear way of thinking is what everybody else is doing. Now, if you set out to work on yourself, it means you'll find a way to develop yourself. And developing yourself doesn't necessarily mean going back to school. Developing yourself could be you watching a video like this on YouTube, or every other video that helps you to learn a new skill or something new, or changes your perspective one way or another. You could set out to get a skill or 2, or even more. Or you could set out to start a business and learn in that business so that you could be able to provide a service. Now, if you are working on yourself, you also understand that there's a certain talent or gift that you have. And because of the talent and the gift that you have, you'll be able to provide a service to someone else based on that. So if you understand what your gift is and what your talent is, whatever service you provide will be aligned to the thing that you know how to do with the least amount of effort, which is your gift. And if you found that thing that you're good at and you're identifying a gap in the market, you are setting out to work on something that you're actually good at, as opposed to going out to primarily work for money. Now, people who primarily work for money don't even care what their gifts are, as long as they are getting paid for whatever they are doing. Now, the difference is, if you are someone who is working on themselves, you understand what your gift is, you understand what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, then you focus your attention on the things that you are good at and the things that you are able to do with the least amount of effort, which means your value that you provide to other people will be much higher than someone who's just looking to make money, right? And number two, if you want to be successful, Warren Buffett says you must develop your public speaking skills. So you need to be able to speak well and speak well in public. Now, 90%, research says more than 90% of people do not know how to speak in public, and a lot of people have a fear of speaking in public, speaking to groups of people. Now, if you develop that as an individual, that be it you being able to speak to a group of people at work, to present certain ideas to them, to present ideas on how to grow the business unit that you're working in, grow the department that you're working in, right? You'll be seen as a leader because you're someone who's able to articulate themselves in front of people. So it's important for you to find a way to develop your public speaking skills. Now, if you look at all the people that have moved, people that have great leadership skills, almost all of them know how to speak in public. Think of the likes of Warren Buffett himself. He knows how to speak in public. If you are a successful entrepreneur, you need to be able to communicate effectively with your team, to train your team. All of that is public speaking. Think of the likes of Nelson Mandela. Think of the likes of Barack Obama. These guys have been effective because they know how to speak in public. So it's important for you to develop your own public speaking skills. If you're scared of speaking in public, grabbing a book like this one, reading it for 30 minutes out loud can help you develop your vocabulary. Now, as you develop your vocabulary, you'll also be able to speak effectively in front of people. Now, you need to be able to communicate effectively, whether in writing or in speech. Now, there's a difference between just speaking and communicating. Now, if you want to get a point across, you need to make sure that the person that you're speaking to can hear exactly what you're saying. And that's what the art of communication is all about. Being able to deliver a message so that the next person can hear exactly what you are saying and take instruction from what you are saying. So meaning when you speak, you've got to be clear, you've got to be candid, you've got to be someone who's able to deliver a message in a way that any person can hear exactly what you're saying. Now, also, your written communication has to be on par with the speech that you want to deliver. Now, if you want to write to someone who's on the other side of the world, so I'm in South Africa, maybe I want to write to someone who's in Australia or the USA or the UK, I need to write in such a way that this person will know exactly what I am saying. So meaning I have to communicate effectively what exactly I'm looking for and what exactly I'm trying to get from the other person, right? So it's important for my communication to be clear. Like right now, you might be watching this YouTube video, you might not necessarily be from South Africa, and my accent might not necessarily be the same accent that you have in your country, but you're able to hear exactly what I'm saying to you. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's a skill that you develop over time. And then number 4, you have to hold yourself to a high standard. Now, Tony Robbins says every human being holds themselves to the standard that they've set. Now, if you believe you're a shy person, that's a standard that you've set for yourself. You'll be consistent with what you've set for yourself. Now, if in your heart you believe that you are a shy person, you're obviously not going to walk into a room and act crazy and jump around and make noise. But if you believe that you're a person who is outgoing, knows how to speak in front of people, knows how to communicate with strangers, then you will hold yourself to that standard. We all set standards for ourselves, one way or another. There's a certain standard that we hold ourselves to. Now, you might also hold yourself to a certain standard that says, I make $1 million every year. That's a standard that you've set for yourself. Now, think of it this way. Now, in South Africa, we've got what we call black tax. Now, how black tax works is that a young person would start work, get employed, and get a salary. Now, after getting a job, they still have to take care of their siblings, take care of their mother, their aunts, if they've got aunts, and all the people that they're related to, or maybe even build a house for their mother and their siblings. The definition of that in South Africa, we call it black tax. Taking money, it's mostly black people who do it, that's why we call it black tax. Taking a portion of your salary and using it to support your immediate family. Now, most of these people, you find that probably he's earning a certain amount of money, let's say 5 grand. But whenever there's an emergency that exceeds that amount of money, they'll always find a way to help their family members. What causes that? What causes that is not because the person has suddenly developed the ability to make more money. What causes them to be able to support their family irrespective of how much they earn and how much the new need is the standard that the person has. That's what allows the person to basically be able to provide for his family irrespective of what the emergency is. So the standard that they've placed for themselves is, I support my family no matter what. So it doesn't matter what really happens, the person will always find a way to support their family, right? So that is the standard that that person holds themselves to. So you and I, what is the standard that we are holding ourselves to? Be it in our jobs, in our businesses, and in our careers. Maybe the standard that you hold yourselves to is I earn a 6-figure salary. Now, your mind is going to figure out how to make that happen, as long as you've set that as a standard for yourself. Now, if you still set a standard for yourself that says, I hardly ever make any money, that's exactly what you're going to produce, because human beings are consistent with who they are. Whoever you believe you are, those are the results that you're going to produce. Now, number 5, you must find yourself a mentor. Find yourself a mentor, somebody you could learn from and emulate. Now, I happen to have been having a conversation with my mentor this afternoon, and a part of the things that he reminded me of is being able to guard and look after cash flow, irrespective of how much money you have. Now, of course, I believe in looking after cash flow, but there's a certain way in which he said it that made me realize the importance of actually looking after the money that we are making as a company, because he's saying to me that, look, we had a pandemic, but from right now, treat every day and every month as if you are in a pandemic. Spend money as if you're in a pandemic, meaning look after the cash. I'm not saying live in fear, but look after the money as though you are in a pandemic and grow it as though there will be another pandemic again. Now that struck something in me and made me realize, actually, he's right. I need to look after the resources that I have. I need to use the resources that I have to employ more people, to grow the business, and to move on to the next level. And then lastly, read. If you want to have a different kind of education, you've got to read. You've got to develop your mind. Find books like this one. It's more than just money. A Guide to Escaping the Rat Race and Building Generational Wealth. Find a book like this one. Books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Richest Man in Babylon. They've got information that is not necessarily taught in school, but information that is so powerful that it can change your mindset, nudge you to the next level, and allow you to work. Now, there are 6 things that I mentioned. The first thing is that you must not set out to make work for money. set out to work for yourself. Secondly, I said you must develop your public speaking skills. Thirdly, I said communicate effectively, whether in writing or in speech. And number 4, I said hold yourself to a high standard. Number 5, I said find yourself a mentor. And lastly, I said to you, read, read, read. Expose yourself to different kinds of information in different industries, be it management, be it marketing, be it tech, be it science. Allow yourself to absorb new information. And the quicker you absorb new information, the quicker you apply it. Thank you for watching this video.